Welcome back to Two Wickets Down, and India have done it. They have finally done it. After 13 years, we have won a World Cup, and they did not make it easy and probably gave everyone a heart attack, but India have finally done it. One of the best, I think, games I've seen in a T20. But yeah, the 13-year drought ends. The curse is broken. All the final losses that we had last year, all gone. But it feels good. How are you feeling, Vasa?
I'm feeling absolutely amazing on top of the world. I could not believe what I was watching in that final.
So
I
just for
thought we'd lost
context,
him.
just for context for people, it's been just over a week since the final. I don't think so. I was mentally in a right state of mind to put my thoughts out in the world because all I've done is send reels to you and some of our family members and just watch the same edits over and over of the World Cup final and just relive that moment so much. I think the emotions were quite high after when we won that call that we had.
Oh yeah, it was absolutely unbelievable because the thing was I thought we had lost it there.
I
I
am,
completely had lost it.
yeah,
Because when he was after that extra Patel over, I thought the game was gone. Even before the extra Patel over, the way that Klassen and de Kock were batting, it looked like the game was slipping away. So,
and
and
usually
then they
I'm
got
like a positive person when it comes to like cricket. Like when like our dad's quite negative and stuff and like stuff like that. But I'm usually quite positive. And I was at a wedding, unfortunately, at that day. Maybe fortunately or unfortunately, but I was watching it on my phone at the wedding. Um, And I did tell the bloke whose wedding it was that no matter what happens, mate, I'm gonna be watching this game on the on my phone during your wedding. I don't really care. But even after that extra potato over, I kind of put the phone away for a little bit because I was like, I think this is done. Klassen and what I think Miller at the time.
it, yeah,
Yeah.
it was Miller on the other end. Yeah,
I thought the game was done and just what I think 3%. 3% was the odds given to India to win from there and
yeah.
to do it
India don't
again.
make
Yeah, they
yeah.
don't make it easy. They never make
Yeah,
it
India, yeah,
easy.
this World Cup, they haven't made it, they haven't made it easy for themselves. Like they wait for the percentage, they wait for the win percentage to go really down to
I
then
think
decide, yeah, we're gonna win it from here.
I think the same thing, right? Kohli
Against
versus Kohli,
Pakistan.
Kohli versus Pakistan, MCG, that like 18% was it 18 or 16% chances of winning when he hits those two sixes to Harris Ruff. Like just never make it easy on ourselves. But
Against Pakistan this World Cup as well, it was almost like 20%.
yeah, but I like it's funny what like because we had so many final losses over the last like 13 years, like semifinals, finals, and then obviously last year we had the last 2 years we had the Test Championship final we lost, and then the World Cup last year.
Mhm.
I think that all of that baggage just made this one so much sweeter, like just so much sweeter. Like I have not seen like people from India and like our family just so happy. Like I don't know if you felt it. I just feel like everyone's in like the best mood I've ever seen them in. Like just it's so funny what a game of cricket does, but I've just never seen
Oh,
people
yeah, I
do.
know exactly. Do you remember when we went to the Oval to watch the World Test Championship final?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes, and the thing is, and like the thing is, like the kind of record we have in the Test matches, right, over the few years, like we've been playing, like India have been playing really well in Test matches over the few years now, and then against Australia, we've been playing really well, and then like all of us were actually kind of confident that we were playing in the Oval, and then the way that we lost that in
Yeah,
that game,
that
it
game
was
really
so bad.
wasn't. Yeah, after the first
Yeah,
2.5 days, that game was really over. But
yeah. So.
I think what the heartbreak for Indian fans, like looking at previous World Cup and even this World Cup,
Mhm.
like in the final, is we are pretty much the best team in the whole tournament. Like let's look at the last 2 years of Test Championship finals. We've been the best team. We get to the final, we lose. Last year's ODI World Cup, we were the best team throughout the whole tournament. I think uncontestedly got to the final, had a really bad game, lost. This tournament been the best team throughout the whole tournament, got to the final, decent first half innings, not a below par score, but not really an above par score. And then we had a 3% chance of winning the game at one point. So it was like I felt like everyone was having flashbacks, and even like I think Kohli said it in a couple of post-match stuff, like it was like not again. Like there's no way this is happening again. Like how many times can this happen to us? And yeah, let's get it. Let's get into the game a little more, right? Shall we? Let's actually talk about
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
yeah,
yes.
yeah. Let's talk about the actual game. So India bat first, and immediately, I think I'll talk what I have heard Kohli say. Kohli, within the first five balls, hit three boundaries off the middle of the bat, and you're like, well, not to get too excited, but everyone was like, well, this is a good start for someone who's been in absolutely terrible form in this World Cup. And then I think
You
is
have
it
to thank, yeah, yeah, you have to thank Marco Jansen for that.
yeah, no, no. We'll thank him all we want. But then I think in the second over, like Rohit Sharma also hits a few boundaries, and it's a pretty good start.
Yeah, it
Like,
was a
yeah,
few streaky boundaries of Keshav Maharaj. Yeah.
yeah, and then I think it's the same story again. The collapse just happens, right? Like the collapse begins. Rohit Sharma flicks one out to Klaasen, I think, in like on the leg
Yeah, I
side.
was trying to
Just
sweep. I mean, the thing is, it was
trying
a
to
really
flick. It was a hit. The
It's a
ball.
sweep there. He was sweeping the spin. I mean, thing is, but I'm going to say one thing. It was really smart captaincy by Markram to to bring on a spinner against Rohit Sharma in the because against nobody had in the whole tournament.
But thing is, I
So
also
as far as
thought.
I can remember, had actually tried to bring on a spinner against Rohit Sharma
I also thought it was a bad
in the power
ball.
play.
I thought it also was a hittable ball. Like it was like kind of down leg side ball, like not maybe middle stump kind of thing. Like it definitely felt like Rohit Sharma could have hit it, but it was just straight to the fielder, really. Then what happened? Then Pant comes on, and Pant. I'm not really gonna even say this in a negative. Pant plays Pant way, and this time he flicked it straight up in the air to the cock. Um, then after that, I think Kohli hit like another boundary, like here in like just one more boundary in like the third over. And then Yadav got caught deep behind the wicket, right?
Yeah, yeah, on the leg side. Yeah,
Yeah, Klaassen again.
he got caught playing that he got caught playing that shot that he does there, that flick shot, which he does like
Yeah, I
it's
think
his favorite
Rabada.
shot.
Yeah, to
Yeah,
Rabada,
Rabada. And the thing is, they actually had a fielder placed there for him for that shot there.
and
And
which
the thing is, and it's alongside of it's alongside of the ground with the wind. So I'd say like it's a bit of a you can and you can't blame him, but and the thing is, a lot of the people were saying, and I think India could have been a little bit of smart there and then sending Akshar Patel before Surya Kumar Yadav
hard to
because when you
say.
had,
But
yeah,
then,
because you
um,
had two quick losses of wicket, so maybe you could have sent Akshar Patel back, man. What and move, what an innings by Akshar Patel, like.
yeah, and then yeah, we'll get to him, and then Surya Yadav gets out, and I think we're 34 for something like 34 for
Yeah.
three, something like that along those lines. Like it looks pretty hopeless at this point for India. I know we bat deep, but just considering, yeah, 34 for three is where India was, and then Akshay Patel comes into bat, and the contrast that happens, I think, is really fascinating here. Just to kind of go a little more into the game, is Kohli has been playing with this intent that the team has asked him to play, or he thinks he needs to play, whatever. Like, it's obviously a collective decision that Kohli's going to be aggressive
Hmm.
this World Cup, and Kohli just goes into a shell, like just turtles up and goes into a proper shell. Um, and I think the reason why he could do that, and he does his usual stuff that he's really good at, like the singles and doubles are flowing from Kohli, like but the boundaries have stopped pretty much. And I think the only reason he got away with kind of turtling up a little bit is because of what you just pointed out. Akshay Patel comes in and just goes like bonkers from like one end. I think he obviously got out. We'll get to his run out too, but he hits 47 off 31, like four sixes, just absolutely like a pressure relief, like just released all the pressure from Kohli and just got India ticking again, and kind of made it kind of put South Africa on the back foot a little bit, which was like a really good counter innings from Akshay Patel.
Yeah, and actually at that point, South Africa actually like really needed that run out. Like we really
Well,
needed that wicket of Harshit Patel.
yeah, well, we'll get to
Hmm.
so Akshar Patel and Kohli are ticking along, and just before the run out, at least from what I could at least seem, like it seems that Kohli was starting to like it was kind of getting deep in the game, and Kohli was also starting to like pick it up a little bit, not too much, but Akshar Patel still was doing absolutely majority of the what do you call of the batting, and it just felt like. I don't know. It just felt like we were suddenly back in the game, and then I don't know. It felt like there was a lot of stuff India could go for 190 at one point if the with the way them two were batting, and it didn't really seem like something any like it didn't seem like South Africa were going to pick up a wicket from anywhere, at least from what I at least what I was watching at that time. And then Akshar Patel does the most brain dead move I think I've seen him do.
Yeah, I don't
Like
know what he was doing there.
I was like.
He was watching the ball. He was watching the fielder. Like he was watching Dick Hawk while running
And
back.
I will say this, Kohli has been involved in a lot of runouts, and I think he gets a lot of flack because of how like he thinks he can run it, so but maybe others can't. But I just don't get what Akshar Patel thought there was a single in there. And you know what? Like it's cricket. Like you make a misjudgment call. Maybe you think it's a single and then you run back to your crease. He obviously started running for a single. Kohli denies the single, and Akshar Patel is like halfway down the track, right? And then he just looks at the fielder, pick up the ball, smiling at him. If you watch the replay, he's smiling at the fielder, picking up the ball and just looking at him. And then he realizes, oh shit, I need to actually run back and get in.
And
And
he's
by the
jogging
time,
back as well. And
and he's
he's
also
jogging back.
jogging back. There's no dive, and then it hits the wicket and goes for four. But obviously, he's run out. And
And it's exactly the similar way that Klaassen got out against England.
yeah, it just was
Yeah.
like I just don't get like the
And it's just
urgency
and
from
it's not
Akshar
the first
Patel.
time and it's not the first time these two have been involved in a run out. Like it's the same way. I mean, like these two also got run out like this. Like they were all both also involved in a run out against Pakistan in the last T20 World Cup. There,
Yeah,
Akshar Patel got sent up early, and then don't know what these two were thinking, and then Akshar Patel got run out. Like
yeah.
they just so I mean,
No,
so like these two when they are playing, like the only way one of them can get out is a run out there. So
yeah. I just thought
uh,
it was like a
yeah,
neat, just pointless from Akshar Patel all ends around, and then that's the 13th over, and then Shivam Dube for all the flack, for all the hate Shivam Dube got, third ball hits Johnson down the ground for an absolute monster six. They get 10 off that over. Then he hits a four off Shamsi in the next over, and he hits another four off Nortier off the next over. And then you're at the 17 overs have been bowled, and then I think it's a small little acceleration from Kohli because he doesn't bat too much longer than this. But Rabada comes into the attack. He absolutely smacks Rabada for a six down, like kind of like uh down the leg side a little bit, but like straight. Um, and I think that's where Kohli kind of turns up the momentum a little bit. He hits Rabada for 16 off that over, pretty much.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. He starts going after Rabada there, and then
Which
all
is,
of a
I think, a
sudden,
big
like
move. I think because I think if there's one of the two who needs to hit Rabada, I think it is Kohli in terms of just like
yeah,
skill and just like experience of hitting Rabada. Then Jansen
yeah.
comes on, bowled a no ball. Kohli makes a mess of the free hit, and then he hits Jansen for a four.
Do you know what actually happened there when Kohli hit a six, and then the ball hit the roof, and then they had to get a new ball, and then they got a new ball. That actually didn't help Kohli as much.
Yeah, I'm getting to that
Yeah,
six because he hits Jansen
yeah,
for a four, then takes a double. He's already got a
mhm,
lot of runs, but I think it's the 18th, like it's the 19th over. He's going after
yeah,
everything. And then he absolutely hits, I think, one of the best sixes of the tournament where it's just like no, like for Kohli, he just doesn't really move his feet, just swings right through the line. And it is absolutely, I think it's like a 96-meter six, and it's on the
yeah,
roof. It's on the roof. The ball, I think, gets changed.
yeah.
And
And then
then
it said, yeah, and it's not the ball, and the ball is not as old as anymore.
Yeah, and
So
then
they
the
had to replace the
next
ball.
ball, Kohli just
Yeah,
hits it
so
out to deep mid wicket pretty much.
yeah, so
And then Pandya comes on. Pandya and Dubé are left. There's not really a lot. Pandya hits a
there's not much
four.
they can
Yeah,
get. Like yeah, but like Dubé can still hit. Dubé
Dubé hit a
still
four in
hits.
the Dubé hit a
Yeah,
four in the last
hits a few
over.
more runs there. Yeah, but like they don't get as many like as you would expect there because like Pandya doesn't have a lot of deliveries to play with.
Yeah, and
Nokia like
Jadeja only plays two balls too. So that's
yeah.
kind of
Yeah, and
Nordia.
Nokia bowls. Yeah, Nokia
Yeah,
bowls a very good, very like a very good last over. And he has bowled like well all season. I mean, oh sorry, not all season, all tournament as well. So
yeah, it's pretty
yeah,
good. Last over from Nokia, and then
so
India,
like so
India
like
176, 170.
176,
Yeah, I
176.
personally thought it was enough. I mean, obviously in the end it is enough, but I thought it was enough runs for a final. Because I think you can look at the pitch and stuff, but I think you have to remember, like, most finals are usually a low scoring compared to the average
Yeah,
on that ground.
I
So
think yeah,
looking
exactly.
at that, I was like 176 in a final in a T20. It's obviously South Africa. We know how they are under pressure compared to us. So I thought us under where we were 34 for three to 176. I thought India. I thought they did enough. I thought they did
And not
enough.
even South Africa, but I think any final you want to have runs on the board. Like if you have
Yeah,
runs on a board,
and especially
like
if you get to
176.
176. Yeah, exactly.
Like 20
176 in the
runs. Like,
yeah.
yeah. And it's a good pitch, but, and like even 176, you have runs on the board. And then, like, with the bowling India have there, like, India would have been happy, especially the start, especially like the start India had, like, three quick wickets down. So I
Yeah.
thought, like, I thought it was a great recovery.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then let's look at a bit of the second innings now. India start off really well. Two quick wickets. You get Hendricks. Bumrah gives Hendricks probably the ball of the tournament, I thought.
I thought, yeah, it was a great,
Yeah, it was
I thought it
probably
was the
the
best
ball of the
ball.
tournament. And then
Yeah.
Arshdeep bowls a good ball to Markram, and India suddenly have, I think, what, 12 for two.
Yeah.
And then Stubbs and De Kock just kind of chug along. They hit a few boundaries, obviously. They're not playing slow, like around 130, 140
Yeah.
strike rate. Not like too aggressive, not a Clausen or Miller any innings, but just still ticking along. Then
Yeah. They actually like,
Stubbs probably got inspired by Punt by behind the wicket because I don't know what he was trying to do, that reverse sweep from the off stump that ends up hitting like he got played on, obviously. Probably one of the worst shots I've seen someone play in a final. Stubbs
I mean, like,
make
he was hitting, like, he did get like a boundary or two off that shot there, but
Yeah, but
I
I
mean,
think
like,
like one is too many. Like we need to realize when
yeah,
you need to let it go. And then Stubbs gets out, nothing. And then this is where I think Rohit Sharma had a great captaincy moment in this final, where obviously we'll get to like the last 5 overs, the the
hmm
entertainment. I think yeah, there was a point I think just before De Kock got out, where De Kock hit a few shots to like on the leg side, but like a fine leg kind of area, and he kept doing it to Arshdeep Singh, and then I don't know how he didn't see it, but he just put Kuldeep Yadav back there, and then I think the
hmm
next ball literally right into the fielder's hand.
yeah. So he moved him back there. Yeah, he moved him back. So he moved the fielder right back there. I mean, like, it's one of those positions that he moves one of those positions that what's his name that De Kock always loves to hit, like, yeah. And then if you look at his whole tournament, he's been paying he's been playing shots all there, like all tournament there, like
Yeah,
all
but
like
it's
it's been
funny. It's
yeah.
funny we didn't have a fielder there from the start, but then obviously in that 12th in that 13th over he hits a boundary two fine leg, and then obviously what do you call it, Kuldeep Yadav drops back and then nets the ball
Yeah,
wicket, and then
and then he
this is
puts
where
it,
the
yeah,
game goes pretty much because Miller comes on, and then
and then Miller comes on,
the game
and
just goes
then
from India. The game just starts drifting away from India so quickly.
yeah, and Miller comes on, and then he hits Kuldeep Yadav for like what, 10,
14
14 runs
runs.
in an over, yeah. And then, I mean, in all fairness, Kuldeep Yadav had an amazing tournament, but it just wasn't his day today
I
there.
think
It wasn't
it was
just
so
his day.
funny. I think it was so funny because our spinners pretty much got us to the final, right? In terms of like
Hmm
just consistency, but it was our spinners who absolutely had nothing, like no purchase off the pitch at all for them. Like absolutely nothing they did worked. I know Akshar Patel got a wicket early on. I think it was Stubbs's wicket, but apart from that, like absolutely nothing. And obviously, as much as Jadeja does great in IPL, he's had an absolutely horrible World Cup bowling wise.
Akshar Patel's first 3 overs weren't as bad there. I mean, if you look at it there,
Yeah, it's
I
his
think
last
that's
over
why.
that really ruined him because he
Yeah,
bowled he gave what? And then Miller, I mean then Klaassen just absolutely takes Akshay Patel apart. Like it was really good batting to be honest. He hit him off 24 off that 15th over
yeah.
and
I it was like at that point, Akshar Patel, Klaasen was like you. He can. Klaasen was like you can bowl anywhere, and then Klaasen
yeah.
was gonna hit it for a six.
And then this is where it gets interesting, right? Because 30 from 3, 5 hours left. Bumrah
Hmm.
comes on, and everywhere I was reading and watching the game on the stream and watching Crick Buzz and Crick Info, everyone had the same question. Is it too late? Because 30 from 3, you're what? You have I think it was 4 wickets down only. You have Clausen and Miller, you have Jansen and Mirage and Rabada who can hit a few. Like it just felt like South Africa had everything going in their side. It was 3% chance for India to win. Um, I thought a little bit of me thought it was a little late to be honest, because I didn't have any doubts about Bumrah holding up at his end, and maybe I thought maybe they might hit Bumrah for a one or two boundary, but
Hmm.
that 16th over that Bumrah bowls, he absolutely bowls it like an absolute corker to Miller first ball, which I don't know how Miller doesn't get out, and then the rest of the over is just Bumrah being the best bowler in the world. It's like Yorker, it's good length ball, it's like wide off stump stuff, like just stuff that isn't very easy to hit.
Yeah, they only
And
got two off that over.
four off that
Oh,
over.
sorry, four. They only got four off that over.
And then Rohit Sharma has a decision to make. Where does he turn? Does he go to Hardik
Arshdeep or
Pan
does he go to?
Hardik Pandya, and then he goes to Pandya, and then
No, no, no.
and
And
no
then he
no
doesn't
no
go to. No, he goes to
no.
Rishabh Pant. He goes to
Yeah,
Rishabh Pant.
Pant, man of the match moment in my opinion. Absolutely clutch. You know when someone says you don't like you have to find reasons to win your team the game without even like if you're not a bowler while you're defending, right? Pant was the example of that. He doesn't bowl. He's a wicket keeper, can't like force himself too much in the game. But no, he's defining cricket again for these youngsters. He's like, you can do stuff to affect the game. You can pull a fake injury. You can do an Afghanistan and suddenly pull
No.
your hammy
Oh, but yeah,
and fall.
but the thing is, like, nobody can do a Gulbadin, what Gulbadin did,
Yeah,
though.
but Punt had a great excuse, man. He was obviously in a horrible accident last year. He was like, my knee's being sore. Like suddenly my knee's being sore at the
No,
worst time.
but no, but okay, in all honesty, like, jokes aside, do you think it was a tactical move, or do you honestly think he was just getting like some, or do you think
I
he
If
was just
I'm
getting
being
some,
honest, and if I was a betting man, if I had to put odds on, I think India forced a break. I
do
I
you think
think
it was a
it
forced break?
I think India. I think no. I think knowing Rohit Sharma, and I don't know if it was a Dravid like the dressing room calls, but I think it was a captain call. I think Rohit Sharma, like let's be honest, he's a very good white ball captain. I think he read the momentum of the game, and I think that was like the desperation card move. Is like, okay, let's just break up the rhythm, and I don't think I'm not saying like I don't think so. It's like I think both things can be true, right? Where Pant probably felt something in his knee, maybe a little bit, but not enough that he needs physio to come out and wrap the knee. If you actually watch the whole thing, they wrapped his knee too. Like I don't think so it was to that extent. So they definitely like extended the recovery or the break in the play because I think the longer that breaks in the play go, the momentum kind of goes. And I mean, let's be honest, Klaassen is like one of those like players. He's a
And
momentum
the
player,
thing is,
right? Klaassen
and
is
the
a
thing is,
momentum player. Like Surya Kumar Yadav, Klaassen is a
mhm.
momentum player. If he's in that moment, if he's in a flow that day, he's the best player in the world. He is the best T20 player in the
And
world.
do you think
And
that had an effect on the game? And do you think that had an effect, like, of
I
him
mean,
getting out?
it's hard to say because that ball, Hardik Pandya ball to get Klaassen out, like, is just wide, just I just like I don't know if I don't want to say it's a bad ball. It's just wide. Like it's just it's a nothing ball really. It's like
Like,
more
yeah,
of like a
like,
hit
but
me.
you
Like
think,
go and
yeah,
hit me.
But do you think like the break and play had an effect on the game?
Yeah, I think it has to had a
Yeah, I think it had an effect on
I
the
think it
play.
absolutely.
But it
There's
did,
no
but it,
way.
because it's one of those things if there was no break in play, it was just like Klaassen was getting on the other end and just getting ready to bat. But I think what happens is when you have the break in play, both the batsmen come together and they just start talking about, oh, what we're going to do next and what we're going to do now, what we're going to do now,
Yeah,
and
I
it's just like,
think
and I think it's like so many things get into your head
I
because you're
definitely
so
think you're
close to
right.
winning. Yeah,
Yeah,
because you're so close to winning. Like if
and you start
especially
overthinking
especially with
things.
South Africa, yeah.
You start
I mean, like,
overthinking things that
and you
aren't
start
like
overthinking thing, yeah.
that aren't
And you're,
complicated. And talking
yeah,
about overthinking things that aren't complicated is it's the wicket ball. It's a wide line, just really
yeah.
like a nothing ball. It's absolutely that's the way I would describe it. It's literally a
Mm.
nothing ball. It's kind of like wide, very full, not like a Yorker, but like in the slot, but just very
It was
wide.
a wide ball. He could have left it, or he could have just touched it and run there.
I mean, like I don't think so. I think
Like the thing is, like
I think
those are the
he was sitting like Clausen like just was sitting in his crease and smacking everything. And I think if
mhm.
you watch that thing, like the ball is very wide. It's just on the wide line. And I
It was
think
just far too wide. Yeah,
yeah, he doesn't really move
yeah.
his feet too much to get to the ball. So
Hmm.
I think it's a bit of
No,
like he has that feeling as
it
you
was just a
right?
very
Like
lazy shot. Yeah,
yeah, probably he's overthinking that, oh, we
he's
need to
over there. Like
it's the
I
overthinking of
think.
like we just get a single off every ball and we'll be fine. And
Mhm.
he just tries to hit a ball that really he doesn't need to hit. Or if he does need to hit, he actually needs to get to the ball to hit it.
Yeah, it is like yeah, there was so I think yeah, I do believe like the break and play
Yeah.
did have a big impact because like they just started over because I think when you like the two players did get together and they just kind of started like overthinking a bit of things
And
over
in
started
my
overthinking.
opinion, when he gets out, I'm thinking, okay, there's a game on here, but still all South Africa, really.
Yeah, when he got out, Klassen got out. I was still thinking
I
they
definitely
still need
believed more. I definitely had a lot more belief because Bumrah
yeah,
bowled a
like
tight over and then Klaasen just got out. I definitely believed more, but I still thought Miller and Jansen and Mirage are like they've got enough to like get them over the line here. Still like run a
the
ball
only thing
here.
with them is like they don't bat too deep. Marco Jansen
Yeah.
can bat, but he's not like
But
one of those
in
like
my opinion,
per-
like at that point, it's not even about batting deep. It's like you have players who can hit a six, and a six at any point here in this game is like a killer. And I think this is where I like, and I don't think so we've even said it, but I know it's the critique that South Africa and India get, like, oh, one team chokes. Where I do, like, I don't think there's any choke by South Africa here because I think the rest of these overs, I mean, the rest of these four overs are just brilliant from India. I think every bowler
yeah, I
stands
think
up and
yeah.
bowls just perfectly.
I think South Africa have got a lot of people coming out and saying that South Africa choked. I don't think they choked. I think India, as soon as Klaasen got out, I think India have come out and won the game themselves. I don't
Yeah,
think South
because
Africa choked it here. I think South Africa. See, sorry, I don't think South Africa choked it. I think South Africa. Sorry, India won the game there from there.
Yeah, because I think Bournemouth sets the tempo. He bowls that over with four
Yeah,
runs. It's quite tight. Obviously, Pandya gets that wicket, and even the rest of that over, Pandya is bowling to Miller and Jansen, and it's pretty much tight lines, uh, into the pads, just slow bouncers, good variation, and then Bumrah comes on again. He
which
absolutely
which I-
bowls
which
it.
I thought was a really smart move to
Yeah,
actually.
I think it's a smart move, but I think it was like it's
I,
it's
I,
the
I think
only
that
move.
I think the only move, yeah, because he had to
Yeah,
give Bumrah the 18th over, yeah,
the Arshdeep the
because
18th.
yeah,
Yeah, sorry, Bumrah the
the
18th over.
Arshdeep, yeah, because of Miller, I think he gave because I think because of Miller there, he gave Bumrah the 18th over because he was in desperate need of a wicket, either Miller
I
or
think, yeah,
or
desperate need of a wicket,
Jansen.
or desperate need of a wicket, or just desperate need of build up more pressure because now the tide is like it's not fully shifted that what do you call um it's pressure on South Africa. It's still more pressure on India, but I think if that 18th over that Bumrah bowls like is a tied over again, and let's say he gets a wicket, but even if he doesn't get a wicket, if it's still a tied over, then we're getting like to the point where it's even grounds now between in terms of pressure and who can win it. And then Bumrah just bowls absolutely an amazing over and again the ball to Jansen, you could put it up there with ball of the tournament, like along with Hendricks that he bowled earlier in that game. But it is just Like
I thought he got,
literally,
you know what I thought when he got, you know what he got bowled. I actually didn't think of, well, so like he got out, but like the way, like the way, what's his name, like the way, what's his name, Bumrah celebrated.
mm,
Like there wasn't much of a like there wasn't much of a celebration from him, and the ball clipped
I
the
think
stumps,
everyone knew at that point. Still, there's still a lot of.
and and the way the ball clipped the stumps and went behind for a four, and then Pant dived to get it. I actually thought, oh shit, the ball's gone for a four, because I didn't realize he got bowled, and I was just,
No,
and then I had my head in my head, I had my head in my hand, and I was, and then the commentator started shouting, "Oh, he's got him!" I was like, "What?"
yeah.
Because like that's how bad the thing, like that's how that's how up and down the game was there at that point.
And then yeah, and then I think there's two balls left. He bowls just
And then he gets
at the
Jansen out, yeah.
yeah, he
And then
got
I think
Jansen
that's
out.
where I think that's where and I think that's where the game changed even more,
Yeah,
because
the
he opened
game
like
changed
one
even
end,
more, and then I think that
because
whole
yeah,
over is
because
only
that's where he opened one end, because like Kesha Maharaj came in, and I think Kesha Maharaj isn't that type of a batsman who's gonna come out and hit boundaries there in that
yeah,
type of
and then
situation.
Bumrah ends his over really well too. I think there's two balls left. He only gives one run away, and it's the last ball too of the over where Mirage takes a single, so he's on strike next over, and so Bumrah takes a wicket that over and only gave two runs away. And
And
now
Arshdeep Bolton.
I think Ersteep here, we were talking about earlier. I think the most underrated over in these five overs, just because obviously Bumrah gets his credit and obviously Pandya gets his credit for the Clausen and the last over he bowled. But to bowl the second last over of a game with Miller and Mirage there, Mirage obviously can't hit it too much, but Miller absolutely can't smack you for a lot of runs. It is just, it's such a tight over. It's like very tight to Mirage. He's changing the length, he's changing the speed of the ball. And it's funny enough, because he bowls it so tight, Miller only played two balls in that whole over. Like it's so
Mm-hmm.
funny. Miller in the 19th over played only two balls, and he hit it. And he got three runs off it, and that was it. And like there was a beautiful Yorker in there from Arshdeep Singh to end the over. And you go into the last over, 16 off six, and I'm thinking India. This is India's game to lose now because 16 off a last over in a World Cup final is not easy by any means. And then something absolutely insane happens where Surya Kumar Yadav takes one of the greatest catches, I think, in a final. In terms of like yeah, technique and skill wise, it is absolutely amazing. But I think all of that gets heightened considering it's a final, the pressure, and it was quite high in the air too, and it was just everything
Yeah.
about the catch was just sensational.
I mean, it was a hit me ball there. So I mean, like
Yeah,
it
I
was
know.
there to be hit for a six.
Like the thing is, like considering like how much the wind has played an effect in this
Yeah.
tournament, it is like an absolutely it's a wide full toss and Miller goes after it and just doesn't get enough. And I don't know if there was the wind played or something in it, like, and it's to the long boundary too. But Suryakumar Yadav, man, just what a catch considering the situation and some of the angles that you've seen from the crowd. You realize how much he actually had to run there, run to it to get to it before. Like once he gets there, he has to do the hard bit, is like jumping over the rope, throwing it back in, and then running back in and catching it.
Mm-hmm.
To actually run to it and still judge like where you need to actually take it, was like it would have been a good catch, great catch by itself without doing the whole rope stuff.
Yeah.
And then yeah, it just absolutely takes a blinder. And seeing all the angles of Rohit Sharma in the background at long off, oh, sorry, long on. I mean, yeah, long off, running away, like his reaction to the catch, it's just insane. Like honestly, I can't believe like that's how Miller gets out in the final. And then the
Have
rest
you?
of the over is just bonkers too, pretty much.
Oh no, man! It's just and then
Rabada hits a
about it
hits a
edges and goes to four,
yeah,
and he's
because
like,
when
"Oh no, come on!"
Miller gets out, everyone's like, "Yeah, India jeet gaya," right? Like
Yeah,
that's the
yeah,
thing. Like all the Indian people just saying India jeet gaya. That's saying of like, yeah, this is in the
yeah.
bag now. Next ball, Rabada, streaky edge four. You're like, nope, this game is back on.
This game is back
And
on. Yeah,
then Pandya bowls a leg by, not an issue. He bowls another leg by, not really an issue.
And it's
they
raining and it's
obviously
raining at the same time.
yeah, it starts raining. Obviously, the game's fine because they obviously need, I
Yeah.
think, like 9 off 2, um,
Hmm.
or 10 off 2, I think. And then Pandya bowls a wide out of nowhere. It
And you're
goes from
looking
10
at
off 2, so it goes to 9 off 2. Now they don't even need a six. They just need two fours to
just a
get to
good.
a super over. And then yeah, after that, the Rabada holds one out on the leg side, and then the last one's what do you call it, on the leg side too. And that was pretty much it. Honestly,
It
just
was a crazy final. It was an
it
absolutely.
was a final worthy game, to be honest. And
Yeah, it was a.
just to see, like, this is where I think I remember you, me, and all of us kind of just lost our emotions. Just seeing the reaction of everything that's happened over the last, like, what, 4 or 5 years, with all the finals we get to and losing, and considering what happened last year, I think especially the World Cup final last year, just to see how that ended for a lot of like senior players, Kohli, Virat, like Rahul Dravid, obviously not, he was going to be gone. But like Hardik Pandya, after all the stuff he's went through in the IPL and stuff, it was
Oh yeah,
just
oh, yeah, well, yeah, exactly. There, no, it was just
uh
absolutely, absolutely like it was all bonkers then afterwards.
yeah, and then yeah, honestly, I just don't think so. I've ever seen anything like that. Like I remember the 2011 World Cup, and I was a little young to go through the emotions for that, but this felt like what 13 years after our last tournament, and then the retirement announcement came up, and I think Kohli and Rohit Sharma did the most genius thing I think they've done, and is retire on a World Cup high, because that is something I think our previous legends have not done in the past, and them to go out the way they did, I think was just really good.
Yeah, and they're true. They're true. I mean, just like say goodbye to T20 cricket on that, like up on a high there, saying like there we're done there. Like
And also, I
it's
think
time for us, time for me to move on.
given the future of Indian cricket, T20 is probably the most where we have the most talent coming in through because of the IPL and stuff. So it's not like eventually we're gonna have. I think we'll miss players like Kohli and Rohit Sharma, obviously, and like those match winners, considering what just happened in the first Zimbabwe game, which we'll cover in a week's time when that series is over. But yeah, honestly, just. I think I have not seen like the Indian crowd react the way I have did, and then the parade in Mumbai and the Wankhede speeches was just like just beautiful. And then like this is where I think Indian people shine. Like the way they celebrate this win, like they changed the airplane number to like UK 1845 to match Rohit Sharma and Kohli's number, like to the level they went to. Uh,
No, they changed it to WC 24. They changed it like
No, 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 no. The flight they flew from Delhi to Mumbai was Vistra, and the flight number was UK, because I think that they have to legally have that. But the flight number was 1845, and they tweeted it was because of like honoring those two players, like stuff like that.
no, no, but the flight from Barbados that came to
Oh my God.
India, yeah, that was I mean, like it has to, like I mean, like the official name on the flight radar, like whatever is like it has to be given by that. But like, but they actually gave it WC 24.
No, but for the Mister one, that's actually how the name was.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna have to wrap it up now. We're short on time,
Okay.
but yeah, thank you everyone for listening. Yeah, thanks for listening to us for the whole World Cup and stuff. Please rate the podcast on Spotify and leave some feedback on YouTube, and we'll catch you in a few weeks' time to recap the Zimbabwe series.